Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, fine. So what I was saying, I said, now this code that we've written, we can see that it's a bit quite long and it's not entering into the whole, we have to scroll to be able to see what we've written at the other end. So a neater way of writing this code and a way where it's more human friendly to the eye is you can put them line after line. For example, after I do Star Wars and pipe operator, I can put this in a second line here, and R will still understand it as being one code. So after I do this, after my second pipe operator, I can put this second function in this line. So can you see what I've done in this place? I have done Star Wars, that's the data set we started with, and then we piped it in to select function, and then within select function. So because we have already told R we are working with Star Wars data set, we didn't have to do this, what we did here, using the this dollar sign. Like I said, this is R base. In tidyverse, you just use your pipe operator. So you pipe information before into the information after. So we tell R we're dealing with the Star Wars data set. And then within this data set, select these 4 variables: name, comma, height, comma, mass, comma, eye color, and then close the bracket. And then after you do that, you go ahead again, and then, which is another pipe operator, after you have selected these 4 variables, we want you to filter the variable eye color. And if eye color is equal to blue, then filter it out, or filter it. So when we do this, R will only select the observations in which eye color was blue, which is what we saw in the console here, where it selected blue as eye color. Okay. So you can see with this, you can just and going. So you can see Tidyverse is a very beautiful package that allows you to just, from one data set, you can do several functions, and then come to the point where you have your analysis or your data visualization or whatever. But you start from one function and you pipe into another and into another, and just like that until we're done. So that's the beauty of the pipe operator within the Tidyverse package. Okay, so this has just shown us select and filter. So these are how you select and filter things. Okay, quickly move to the next function, which is to rename variables. Sometimes when you have variables, there might not be, I mentioned at the beginning that we'll have human-friendly and machine-friendly type of data. Sometimes you might have a variable and the name might be too long or too cumbersome for you to be using. Let's assume, for example, if in this place, if here, this height, for example, if in the data set it was what is the height of the participant. So you can see that writing this is very long. Even though it's human friendly to the eye, to know exactly what you're talking about. You want to know the height of participants, but the machine or the analytic software will prefer you to do machine-friendly names. So you can convert, okay, you can rename variables to make them more machine-friendly so that our environment can easily analyze with that. So assuming in the data set, we had what is the height of the participants, we can rename it and say we want it now to just be called height. So that's what rename variables is used for. I'll just show us an example. Let me go to this voters work we did yesterday. Okay, let me use this as an example. Let's say sex is the name of this variable, this one here. And maybe, for example, in the Western world, they prefer to use gender instead of sex. So let's assume I received this data set and I'm working in Europe and I see sex and I want to change sex to gender. How do I do that? So we'll go to this place. We'll rename a variable. Okay, there is something we call mutate function. I haven't mentioned it. Mutate function is in the class of select, filter, and co. It's in a package we call dplyr package, and dplyr package is also within the tidyverse package. So mutate function is used to, it's like saying change. Mutate is another word for change in English. So it's like saying change something. So to rename a variable, we usually use the mutate function, and this is how we use it. Okay, so remember now I'm working on a different data set. I'm working on this data set called voters, not Star Wars, so that you don't get confused. Okay, so I want to change the name of sex in this place to gender. So I go to my script on voters. So first of all, what do? We write the database voters, and then we do what? We click on our pipe operator, and then since we don't want to write on a long line like this, we click enter here so that it comes to the next line, and then we write mutate. So mutate is the function, and then within mutate, what do we want to work on? We want to work on the variable sex, right? And then equals, we now write rename. We are renaming a variable still in the sex column, right? Comma, and then inverted commas. We are renaming we want to call it gender equals sex. Okay, so let me explain this code I just wrote here now. Okay, so our data set is voters, and then we put in our pipe operator, and then we say mutate. Like I said, mutate is a function that means change something. So mutate, when you write mutate, you need to tell mutate, okay, yes, it is working from this data set voters, but on what variable is it working on? You tell it it's working on variable sex, right? Now, sex, you now write equal to. Then what we want to do, what do we want to change? We want to rename something. That is a change that we want to do. So rename, we open our brackets, rename in which variable? Still the variable is sex. And then what is the new name we want to give the the variable, we say it's gender. What is the old name? We say it's sex, right? Okay. So now when you use rename, I'll bring this up when we are doing recode. Recode is another function. So in rename, it's your new name first equal to your old name. So the new name we want to give is gender. The old name that was there before is sex. So we click Control Enter. Oh, it says we have an error. No applicable method for rename applied to the object of class character. Okay. Why is this? Sorry, let me check something and then I'll get back to us. Okay. No, still giving us a mistake. Okay, I'll get back to this. I don't know why it's giving us this error. We'll get back to this rename. Let's just proceed to the other ones. Okay, let's do recode. Maybe from there we can find out the reason why this is giving us an error. Okay, so while rename is for variables, recode is used to change values. Just like when I talked about select and filter, I said select is used to work on variables. Filter is used to work on observations. Now, the same thing applies to this place. Rename works on variables. Recode works on values. And we've talked about values as things that are within this data set. All of these are values. So let's assume we want to recode. Let's look at the data set so that we can know what we're doing. Okay. Let's assume now, okay. You can see this data set here. Number 17, the name is Dati, he's 60 years old, he's male, he weighs 58 kilograms, he's 165 cm in height, and then he's from Kano State. Assuming we made a mistake in writing this state, that he's actually from Kaduna and not Kano, and we want to recode this. Want to recode this value of Kano and call it Kaduna. So how do we do that? Now we go back to our script. Let's come back here. So we're also going to use, because we're making a change, we're still going to use our mutate function. So we tell R what data set we're working on, which is voters, pipe operator, and then we come to our mutate. So mutate, we're working on what column was that now? State. I'm working on a state column equal to, and then we put in recode, which is what we want to do. Recode state, and then it's Kanu. You want to change Kanu to Kaduna. Okay. Fine. Okay, so if you remember, I told us when we were using rename, we put the new name first, which was gender, and then we put the old name second, which was sex. However, when we're doing recode, recode starts with your old name first, and then your new name next. You can see the old name was Kanu, and then the new name we want to impute is Kaduna. So run this. So if you look at this DETI number 17, it has changed to Kaduna. Can you see that? It was formerly Kanu. If we look here, it was formerly Kanu here, but because of the code that we have written, we have changed it to Kaduna in the console here. Can you appreciate it? Kaduna, from Kanu to Kaduna by running the recode function. So I'll just go through it again. Voters, and then you put in your pipe operator, and then you want to make a change. So once you want to make a change, you use the function mutate. And then mutate, what do you want to change? It is the state variable. Equal to recode is what is the kind of change you want to make. So you want to recode Kanu to become Kaduna. So you recode in the state variable, and then you put Kanu and Kaduna, Kanu equal to Kaduna. Remember I said every value has to come with an inverted commas. That's why Kanu is in inverted commas and Kaduna is in inverted commas, because they are values within a data set. Values need inverted commas to operate. So this is how you recode a value in R. Okay, can we move ahead? Now, find.
I have a question.
Okay, please go ahead, Ma.
So if you have like more than one Kanus appearing, more than one value with Kanu, are all the values going to convert to Kaduna?
Once, it will convert all Kanu to Kaduna.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's a very good question, Ma. And then if you are doing multiple changes, you can also continue in that format. You just put your comma. You can go to the next line and say, let's say we want to convert Lagos to, Lagos to, what's it called now? Lagos to Abuja, let's assume. Want to change Lagos to Abuja, you do that. So you can actually write different changes within the same command. You understand what I mean? So let's also assume I made a mistake and we want to change Imo to Enugu. So if I run and if I click Control Enter now, it will change Kanu to Kaduna, Lagos to Abuja, Imo to Enugu. Let's look at the data set and see. So we have two Imos as the last two variables. I mean, the last two values of this state. If you can see here, we have Imo here and Imo here, and then we have Lagos here. I think there's no other place where, okay, we have another Imo somewhere up here. So let's run the code and see what happens. So we go to our script and then run this code, Control Enter. So if you look at the console here, the last two states were Imo in the main data set, but here it has changed to what? Enugu. You can see. And then Here initially was Lagos, but it has changed to Abuja. And then we had one other Imo that up here, which has changed to Enugu. So that's how you recode values in a data set. Okay. So now I said every value in a data set has to be in inverted commas. There's an exception to that rule. When the value is a number, it doesn't have to be in inverted commas. When the value is a number, it doesn't have to be in inverted. For example, if we're working on a number, let's say this height, 154, and we put 154 somewhere here, you don't have to use inverted commas for numbers. Only character values that you use inverted commas for. Is that okay? Fine. So we have two more things to deal with before we round up. So that's finding and dealing with missing data and finding and dealing with duplicates. Now, quickly, let's do finding and dealing with duplicates because that's very simple. So if you want to, sometimes when you send out research assistants into the field to collect data for you, sometimes there might be errors where a particular observation is imputed more than once. And then you want to eliminate every observation that was duplicated within that data set. And that's that's quite easy to do. So you just do, what do you call it now? You tell R, this is the data set you want to work on, and then you put in your pipe operator, and then you click this distinct. So this is the function for dealing with duplicate data. So if there are any duplicate data within that data set, once you do this command, you write the data set and then you pipe it into distinct. Once you run this command, R will eliminate every repeated data, every repeated observation within that data set and give you the updated data set. So cleaning process is a very simple one. Just you write the data set and then you pipe it into distinct and then you run that command, and that takes care of any duplicate data that you might have within your data set. Okay. Last, we look at find and dealing with missing data. Okay, so let's go back to our Star Wars data set. Now, sometimes when you're collecting data, there might be some instances that particular observation or that particular value was not imputed into the data set, and your system sees it as not available, which is what NA means. So how do we deal with missing data in our data set? Because when you have missing data, there might be some functions that you're not able to apply in your analysis in R because it has missing data present. Let me give us an example. Let's look at height in this data set and see if there are missing values in height. Okay, so let's look at the unique values of let's look at the unique values in that variable. Okay, let me use our base type of function, height, and see if there. Okay, so I can see from this that there is a missing value in height. You can see it, I highlighted it here. Unique just tells me the unique values within that particular variable. And it has shown me all the unique values in the variable, and I can see that there's missing data NA within that. So let me show something. If we ask R to give us the average, so we round mean of the height, Star Wars $ height, and we click Control Enter, it will tell us NA. Because there is the presence of a missing data in this variable of height, R cannot find the average of these values when there is a missing data in it, because it does not know what that missing data is. So when you type mean of this variable, it just tells you not available. So how do we deal with that missing data in that this? So we can just say drop, okay, na.rm. So na.rm will tell it true. So na.rm means remove missing data. That's what this function stands for. RM is remove, NA is missing data. So you tell R, I want you to find the mean of the height variable within the Star Wars database. And if there is a missing data within it, I want you to remove it so that you can find the mean for me. So once I now run this command, you can see R gives me the mean of the height variable as 174.358. And that is because I have removed the missing data within that variable. Do we appreciate what's happened here? Can I get a yes if we did appreciate it?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So, okay. Where is? Okay, so let me write the initial Star Wars height. Okay, so let's appreciate the difference between the two. So in this one, I just asked R to give me the mean of the height variable in this. Okay, fine. Dr. Nura, I saw your message. Thank you. So we just asked R to give us the mean of the height in this place. But height contains missing data. So R will not be able to find what that means. Okay, so what we do is we write the same code, but we put a comma, and then we tell R to remove the missing data within that packet, within that variable, by writing na.rm, which means remove missing data equal to true. Once we do that, R gives us this. And then we can also for example, let's assume we want to look at the entire data set. Let's say Star Wars, put in a pipe operator, and then we do select completed cases, right? Okay, let me just see. No, this is not what it is. No, not this. Star Wars. see. Okay. Okay, thus far, do we have any questions so far on what we have done today? I think we have about 5 minutes for this session to end. So let's just take this time and just talk about, let's clarify a few things we don't understand, ask questions, make comments. Yeah, please go ahead, Prof. Isichi. Unmute yourself and then so we can talk.
Sorry, my hand was up earlier and I asked that question. I forgot to bring it down.
Oh, okay. So let's use this last 5 minutes as question and answer session. So let's just talk based on what we've looked at today. Gabriel?
So far, I think I have followed. I will still take some time to process it more. Okay. I think I'll be perfect when I do it all by myself.
Exactly, that's fine. Okay, thank you. Prof. Isichi?
I think I have the same comment. The last two parts were a bit confusing with those dots, REM or dot,
okay.
Remove missing. The REM is remove missing number.
Remove missing.
I think those commands, yes, were a bit wasn't too clear to me, but I will look at it again.
Okay. Awesome. Dr. Nura?
Okay.
Dr. Nura, are you there? Okay. Josephine, you have any questions? Josephine, you have any questions?
No questions for today.
Okay.
No questions.
Okay, not quite. Okay, fine. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Okay, I think what she said is not quite okay.
No question.
We didn't hear from Dr. Nura, so I just want to assume it's fine for everyone. Okay, so I want us to just go back again. There is a document that I sent us earlier in the earlier mails I sent that is on data cleaning. So just look at that document again and review what we have said. We will have another session next weekend. So in the course of the week, if you look through the document and you have any questions, please send me an email. I would try as much as I can to respond to every question, every clarification that you want. I will always be available to do that. That's my promise to this group. So if you have any questions, whatever you need, I just send me an email. I will ensure that I do that. Even if it means doing a small session on WhatsApp with you, I will do that so that we can all follow. But try and read up data cleaning documents on that, and then see if you can work on so now we know that we can we have data sets here that we have access to, so you can go ahead like this Star Wars data set. You can install and load your tidyverse package, and then you bring on the Star Wars data sets and just practice on it. All the functions we used during the exploration aspect, and then what we've done in data cleaning, just practice. Whether you're getting it or not, just keep practicing. And then R has the help box. You can always go there and ask R anything you want to ask. Like I said, if you have any clarifications, do me an email or send me a WhatsApp message. I will always get back to you. So I just want to thank everyone that has made our time to be here today. I'm very grateful for this. I do not take it for granted. We'll see next weekend, Saturday at 3 o'clock. It's been a wonderful time with you guys. So have a wonderful rest of the weekend and an amazing week ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you. You've done very well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.